President Obama stepping up his so-called charm offensive now with Congress after some informal meetings last week. Today, the president meets with the Senate Democratic Caucus. Tomorrow, he'll meet with the House Republican Conference. And then on Thursday, there's talks with the Senate Republican Conference and the House Democratic Caucus.
This after a dinner and lunch, but isn't this bipartisan outreach too little too late or just the right time?
Joining us right now is world-renowned pediatric neurosurgeon Dr. Benjamin Carson. He's also the best-selling author of America the Beautiful, and today he joins us from Baltimore. Doctor, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Okay, so what do you think the president is up to?
Well, it is interesting that there's been a rather abrupt change in his demeanor. From blaming everybody to reaching out, and it's a good change. I'm very happy to see it, but obviously the proof is in the pudding, and we'll see what happens over the course of time. If we can maintain, a spirit of collegiality and respect, it's amazing what can actually happen. But I'm waiting to see that.
So it's interesting because the budgets now are being revealed from the Republican side and from the Democratic side, and then the president will come out with his own budget plan. I know that when you attended that prayer breakfast recently, you brought up the tax code, and you were in favor of a flat tax. So whose plan do you think you're going to like? Do you think anyone's going to advocate a flat tax? Paul Ryan's has 10% and 25%.
Well, it's getting flatter, so we're moving in the right direction. What we have to remember about taxation is when this country was founded, our taxation rates were relatively small. The Tea Party brewed up over something that wasn't anywhere near what we're doing today. And the government has become more and more intrusive. And as we allow the government to take more and more money, all it does is fuel their growth. So we have to be cognizant of whether we, in fact, want to be a nation where we rule our own lives or whether we have the government invading every aspect of our life. This is a very, very serious issue, and I think a lot of people are asleep at the wheel, and we have to just keep sounding the alarm until people recognize that we're giving away the freedoms of our nation.
Right, and two areas of expertise, additional areas of expertise that you have is in the medical profession. You talked about it in that speech at that prayer breakfast. Paul Ryan goes specifically after Medicare. He wants to give people money to buy their own insurance, seniors, starting in 2025. And he also says goodbye to Obamacare. Two things you could support?
Absolutely. I've looked at the Ryan plan and the way that they have gradually phased things in so as not to hurt the elderly people who have planned their lives around the existing system, and I think that's very sensitive. But, I spend a lot of time looking at budgets. A lot of people say he's a doctor, he doesn't know anything about budgets. They have no idea what they're talking about. But the fact of the matter is, you have to plan, you have to strategize these things, and when you look at the Ryan budget, it works. And, I'm willing to look at any budget that works. When the president puts one out, when the Senate puts one out, I'm going to look at it very objectively. We need to do that. But Ryan's budget does work.
All right. This charm offensive started after the president's poll numbers dropped, after the sequester pretty much imploded there at the White House. What do you think about these cuts, for instance, the White House tours, that look like they're trying to inflict as much pain as possible to get the Republicans to cave on taxes?
Well, that's pretty obvious, I think, even to a child. When you know that you have the ability to move monies around and you allow the most severe things to happen. Look at what's happening to the veterans' educational benefits. I mean, that's absurd. These people putting their lives on the line, many of them who joined the voluntary military force for the educational benefits, and now we say, no, we're not going to give those to them because of the sequester. That is so absurd. That's the very last thing anybody who cares about our nation and our veterans should be doing.
Well, I know you got a full day ahead of you, hence the lab coat. Dr. Ben Carson, thanks so much.
My pleasure.
It's making rounds with us.
Yeah, might as well.